In this video, I'm going to share with you why you might need to fire your first customer ever, maybe essentially putting them on a blacklist. They're no longer able to be a customer of yours in the future. I'm going to share a situation with you that happened to me just recently. I'm going to talk through every aspect of it that I can think of, and we're going to kind of break it down to hopefully this can be a help to you, but also just me processing why do I do what I do. And so we're going to go ahead and get right into that right now. All right, so in the past, I have made at least one or two videos talking about working with brokers. If you have not already been called by brokers, soon enough you will be. As soon as you're found or discovered on Google My Business or maybe even your website, brokers often will call to find out pricing. And if they're new to the area, they're going to call you for maybe multiple different size dumpsters to get a picture of what it may look like. And that has been the case for me. There was a broker that called me that actually kicked off using me for my 10 cubic yard cans that I just got operational. So after a number of jobs that we worked together on, there was, these several red flags that essentially built up over time. If not red, they were at least yellow, cautioning me, hey, I don't know, maybe double check on these certain aspects of this rental, just to make sure, this and that, making sure you do your due diligence with the placement of the dumpster, with, at this point, you're talking through another person to the direct customer. So meeting their needs is a little bit harder because you can't hear what they say. You hear the interpreted version, essentially playing the phone, go around the room, a bunch of kids, and you hear a version of what the customer said and what their needs really were. And so this broker had a number of times where we had some miscommunications. I would clarify and summarize the phone call at the end and make sure, so on this date is drop off, this date is pickup, this is the price, this is what's included, and I would just go down the list. And we would say that, and then later on, I'd get a call back and say, "Oh, no, we had this and that, and this was included, and that was no problem, and you said this and that," and just constantly trying to haggle me down, trying to gaslight me, trying to manipulate and control me. And this went on in small areas, but really got cranked up this last dumpster rental, and that was a 7-day rental, which was supposed to be for a 30-yard, but they took 2 15 yards to be able to work with me because I was apparently this broker's only option for that week. And so we worked out a price for the week and then a dump and a return. So a swap out, what that price would be. And then I was, as it has been every other time, I don't do anything, and it's been verbally communicated. I think it's also on their own documentation, on their invoices that they send me, and or their POs, and basically I don't do anything unless they call and talk with me directly. And so I was supposed to drop off a 15-yard on Monday, and then he thought around Wednesday, maybe Thursday, I come back and I pick it up and then dump it, return it for the last part of the week. And essentially it could be even less than 7 full days, but we're just, waiting on the customer to find out when they fill it up. Could be earlier, could be later. Bottom line is I don't do anything until this broker says, here you go do it. I don't move an inch because that means if I do anything, that means I'm charging. And if they don't want to pay, if the customer doesn't want to pay, it ain't going to happen. And so I essentially talked with him and said, yep, okay, I'll be waiting on the phone call. We'll talk later this week. Great. Okay. That was relatively easy. That was a little too easy. So, Monday goes by, I drop it off, no problem in the morning. Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm expecting, am I going to get a call soon? I don't know. Thursday, Friday, I'm thinking, okay, interesting. Okay, so we're going to go into the weekend. I've already told this broker many times when I'm able to actually dump on the weekends, which is until 1 o'clock on Saturdays. They're not open on Sundays. So thinking, okay, so I guess what really happened was he wanted to get me on a lower price for the whole week for my 15 yard, and he's trying to throw me under the bus without a swap out to make it really worth my while, because our swap out was a little more expensive than maybe he was okay with, or he initially wanted, that's for sure. And so I was thinking, oh, so he's hosing me on this. So next time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to require that there is a swap out. If there's a 7-day rental, it's going to be in writing. There's, whether I actually physically do it or not, you're going to be charged, including a swap out, so that this doesn't happen again. You learn from your lessons, and here's one for me. So that's what I was planning on doing. So I get through the weekend, and Monday morning rolls around. So the end of the 7 days, I go Monday morning, I pick it up. As I'm driving away, this broker calls me right then, and says, hey, Daniel, did you pick up that dumpster and swap it out and bring it back? No, I just picked up the dumpster for the first time, and I'm going to dump it right now. You never called me. Oh, no. You were supposed to swap it out on Wednesday sometime. Huh. Did you give me a call on Wednesday? I have no call record of you calling me Wednesday. I don't do anything, as we have talked about many times. I don't move an inch unless you call me to confirm and talk through that. So I got no information, so I did nothing. And it's the end of the week. He then says, oh, the customer is yelling at me on the phone. He's really upset. You were supposed to pick that up. You never did it. You can go and swap this out, whether we talk on the phone or not, or through an email PO, one or the other. I said, no. Actually, it's only been through phone, and email confirms it. The email verifies it, that it's in writing. So that's not what we've ever worked out. And you were supposed to call me. You didn't call me. Why didn't you call me? He immediately starts blaming me again, saying that the customer is irate. And basically, I am to blame. And he says, what are you going to do to fix this problem, to fix your problem? You were supposed to be there. So I said, I understand you're trying to blame me for your mistake with the customer and trying to save face with them. And you're in a pickle, and I get it. The truth is, I don't owe you any other days. This was the time period for the rental. I didn't get the money I was looking for that was supposed to happen with the swap out because you never called. It's not my responsibility to do your job. So here's what I'll tell you I'll do. I'm willing, because I do have the availability. I don't have it today on that next Monday, but I do have it. I believe it was like Wednesday, Thursday. So there was a day or two in there between there. But I said, yeah, I'm willing to give you 2 more days for the rental, including the swap out fee, plus dump fees. That's what we had done each time on the swap out. That would not include dump fees. That would be added after the fact, prorated at $60 a ton. And so I said, I'm willing to do that, and we'll be good to go. I'm basically trying to make sure he understands this is not me taking ownership of your problem. This is me being above and beyond trying to help you because you got yourself into a mess. But I understand to a certain degree, but I'm going the extra mile, not you. Essentially, like this is no sweat off my back. I have the proper documentation to prove it, and try to take me to court, I guess, whatever, knock yourself out. But there's no way this dude would have done that. But so basically he said, oh, well, the customer's really upset, and he's blah, blah. I said, okay, that's fine. All right. Yeah. I'll be there for 2 days after this, get it filled up. And, it'll be the actual swap out fee plus dump fees. And he said, whoa. We agreed to this lower price for the swap out fee, and that included dump fees. I said, well, I have your POs that say exactly what it was, which is it was actually over double what you're now saying here. So this is not how it's going to go. I would make no money at that rate of a swap out. It's not happening. There's no reason. There's no way I would have said yes to that before. Besides the fact I know I didn't. I could not have, because I would not have made any real money at all. So that is not the truth. You are misremembering, trying to be gracious, not calling him a liar on the phone immediately, but like, this is not how it's going to go. Said it's going to be at this swap out and then plus dump fees. And so he went on. I can't even remember exactly what he said after that, but I said, listen, we had chatted a little bit later. He said, well, I need to go. He said, I need to get off the phone here. I'll call you tomorrow. So I said, okay, we'll talk soon. So something just did not sit right with me. I had dropped off the dumpster. By that time, the time frame is a little fuzzy in my mind. It was like a couple weeks ago at least now, but basically I sent him a text message. I had his personal number, and I said, hey, you need to call me by noon. And he called me and said, hey, so what's going on? What's this price? And I said, listen, man, I'm done. I'm willing to drop off this dumpster at the regular price that we had said. And at this point, I am so done. I'm not going to even argue with you. I don't care if I lose money on this. I'm done. And so whether there's dump fees included that or not, I'm just done working with you. It's there's been so much miscommunication. There's been so much headaches along the way. I'm done. Basically that was the key word, key phrase of the day. I'm done. And so I said, I will take care of this customer. I will do it to the best of my ability. They will have the full time allotment, and I'll get it done for you. No problem. No issues for me. People who quit a job or something, they kind of slack off at the last day or the last 2 weeks or whatever, and their productivity just goes straight down sometimes, probably based on their character of why that might happen. But I said, I will absolutely get this done. It will be right, and I will take care of this customer. And then after that, we will no longer be able to do business together. And so that was the last time I've ever talked to that broker. They have not tried to call back. It's for I think a larger broker company, I guess, that works pretty decently in my area. But here's the aspects of this that I want to talk through and maybe help you kind of think through in your own business. I've got them written down here. So number one, which is a huge thing, which was an issue, whether it was a hot topic or not, a big deal in the multiple dumpster rentals that we had together, but my reputation with the customer, how the broker speaks to the customer, how they interact, whether you like it or not, reflects upon your business, my business, how they deal with the actual person paying for the whole thing. It matters, and to a great degree, because oftentimes the average homeowner might not recognize, or be able to actively think through, this dumpster company is not the same exact company as the broker that I called. They usually would lump them together in the same bag. I've seen it. I've talked to homeowners before. I've had some homeowners that recognized that they were a different entity than me, and they were grateful for what I did for them, but they were fuming at the broker because they misled them, they lied, they did all this stuff. So your reputation can be negatively affected, and there's not much you can do about it. If they have a bad taste in their mouth with working with that broker, you're most likely going to be lumped into that. So number one, your reputation, which the truth is, you can get loans, you can get money, you can get equipment, you can do all these things, but you only have one reputation. If you are known for mistreating customers, not caring, not doing X, Y, Z, your reputation You can't buy that back. You can't do any of that stuff. That takes, I mean, that's your business. Your reputation is your business. So negatively affecting my reputation, my business that I've worked so incredibly hard with the customers I have had to have a, basically 100% satisfaction guarantee, the whole thing. If there's any issues that I messed up or I was late or anything, I've made right. Every single customer that I've worked with has been satisfied. Like, I've gone above and beyond, just absolutely intentionally, to make sure my reputation is high in the sky. And so that's number one. Number two, the constant haggling, depending on the broker, and maybe you don't run into this too at all, with certain brokers, but this particular broker constantly, every job, was trying to negotiate a new lower price, trying to shift the whole theme of the rental a different way so that it would be more beneficial to him. They're trying to get a bigger chunk of the pie, bigger piece of the pie. So I get it. They're trying to make money. I understand. There's room enough in the dumpster rental business, that service being provided to the public for, them to provide real value. Finding the right customer, finding the right company, calling around to see who's even available. Like, I get it. Customers don't want to do that. I don't believe a broker is valueless. I do think they serve a purpose. However, constantly haggling on the same length jobs, all this stuff. This guy was constantly, if I was driving around or I was at the dump or whatever, and we were on the phone together, I had to stop everything I was doing. And if I didn't, I got caught. I had to stop everything I was doing to make sure we talked through the wording of everything, precise language, to make sure that I am not being ripped off. I am not, things are exactly how it's supposed to be. And then going to the POs and making sure everything is exactly the way we talked about it on the phone, confirming everything before I accept it, before I take any payment, anything. So the constant haggling, I'm always, it's the cheapest customer out there trying to rip you off, trying to say, oh, can I get a discount? Oh, can I do this? Oh, I'm bringing you customers. I understand that the brokers bring you customers, and that has value. That's a savings to you, as a company owner. But it was so much time, so much energy that I had to devote to any time I was dealing with this guy. I'm ripping out the rest of my hair. It was just an absolute nightmare with this guy. With other brokers, there's been brokers who haven't questioned me on price. They don't say a word. They don't anything. Just incredible brokers. Just awesome guys. But this one, no. Next, poor communication as far as the customer's placement needs. For how long the rental even was. That was somehow a bizarre situation. Having to deal with homeowners, talking with them on the phone, the notes that the broker might send you, very little detail of what's going on, because they don't know, because they're not there, and they might not know what to ask because they've never actually dropped off a dumpster period before. So they're ignorant. But it's not somewhat their fault, but some of it is. So kind of a mixed bag there. So dealing with customers in person, showing up and saying, okay, so how can we make this work? Where do you need it at? Can we make this happen for you? I in a previous video, I'll put it up here. I was on the phone with this customer for probably a combined 30 minutes or so, sent multiple pictures back and forth with this elderly lady. She was kind of frantic on the phone, but eventually at the end of it, her and her adult daughter, it was an older lady, were completely at ease. They were so grateful. They sent me a text message. It was a pleasure doing business with you. Grateful for, all these fantastic reviews, but it took a lot of time to figure out what in the world's even going on. If I had that customer previously, I would have already known all of those questions, those answers going into it, because I would have asked the questions before I showed up. What's happening with the driveway? Is there enough space for, as far as the rails to go up in the air? Power lines, all that kind of stuff. And so it's it's a third party, like I was saying previously. For somebody to it's like the game for the kids going around the room, and I can't remember what the game's called, but you hear something different than what was originally said because somebody else interpreted it. So that can be a little difficult there. Next is payment. And this is the thing that you can really get in trouble on, which thankfully I never did by too much. But if there was a poor communication situation, and you're going through the trouble of trying to figure this out and go, navigate through this. What did we say? Well, what's written down, and talking through that. At the end of the day, these brokers, oftentimes, most brokers, I would assume, they don't have just a business debit card. They just give you so you can have the card on file. What they do is, or what some do, maybe to protect themselves in certain areas, but also maybe to do some shady stuff, is they will give you prepaid debit cards that aren't linked to any account of any sort. They'll put several $100s on each card, or multiple cards, $500, $1,000, whatever that may look like. And then they will basically pay you for the upfront cost, for the price. Pay the price. And then if there was overage for dump fees, overages for length of time, whatever that may look like, if they're using that specific type of debit card, you're not going to be able to charge the card on file because there's no account linked to it. There's no nothing. It has $0 on it left. They've already transferred money off of it or purchased other stuff, or who knows what. There's no money on the card. You can have all the cards on file, but if all of them are at a zero balance and there's nothing linked to it, you're in trouble. You're stuck with the bill. And so there was a couple other times where it sounded as if he was wanting to pull his weight, and really he wasn't concerned that there was a disagreement on the price or that there was overages, because there was nothing to really deal with that card. There was times I had to get different cards. It's that was a different card. Here's another card. And then here's another card. I think we went through 5 or 6 different cards. So for this type of situation, you can get upside down dealing with these types of people, these brokers. Technically, any customer out there could do that. A homeowner could do that. For one, I'm curious to see if there's any way to block any type of prepaid debit cards out there, maybe through your payment processor. So I'm actually gonna look into that for DRS to see if there's a way that they can reject those types of cards. If that's possible at all. So, anyways, there's 4 points there of why you might want to, if you're currently going through these issues, if you're working with a broker, and this doesn't just have to be a broker. This could be any customer out there. If you are working with a customer, a homeowner, that just you're doing everything you possibly can. And to a certain degree, they might not want to use you a second time, but if there's somebody who's used you a couple times and they're not actually happy with you, if they're just angry at the price and constantly trying to haggle you down, beat you down on price, get you, so and so can do it for less. Technically, that was another thing this broker would do. Well, there's a bigger company out there that we could work with, but we want to work with smaller companies. I think there's reasonable reasons why somebody might want to work with a smaller company. I'm going through that exact kind of scenario in a very positive way with another company. But if they're trying to leverage that against you, to scare you, to threaten you that, well, we're not going to use you if you don't lower your price down to dirt, nothing. That's just a way to manipulate, to gouge you for more so that they can retain even more money. So this is the situation for me. I, as nicely and as courteously as I could, professionally, I could, I fired my first customer. I have zero regrets as soon as I got off the phone with them. Really, when I picked up the dumpster and dumped it, for the last time, I think they went over the weight just a little bit. Said, I don't even care. I'm so done with you. It's been a nightmare. It's been a constant pain. I've thought more about you than I have things that are actually important in my life. This is not it. This is not the deal that I want to be a part of. And you might feel like, if you're a smaller operation or you're a smaller company, like myself, man, I can't afford to not have that person. It's worth the headache. I'm not here to tell you it's not, but I can tell you from my experience, if you're working with that type of a customer, it will never end. You will be constantly in a position, whether you have things written down or not, at one of these areas, your reputation, the haggling, the poor communication, the sketchy payment situations, and I'm sure there's even more, but one of these is enough to say, I'm done, man. This isn't it. Find some other sucker to do this to. It's not going to be me. I immediately texted or called my buddy who also has a dumpster business and warned him about it. He was used by this guy a couple times, and ultimately, I don't think he was thrilled with this guy either. But it's just not worth it, this kind of thing. So I hope this was a help to you. I would encourage you, if you have this type of customer right now that you're working with, think through these points. Decide if you need to fire your first customer as well. Let me know down in the comments below. This is not a hate video. This is not revenge against this person. I'm not name dropping. What I am trying to do, what really matters, because this type of person could be any broker, could be any customer, is think through these things, these hot button issues, your reputation, constant haggling, poor communication, sketchy payment processing situations. Think through, do you have any customers like that? Is there a situation right now that's just in the bottom of your stomach, just burning a hole? I mean, you're about to get an ulcer. I mean, this is weighing on you. If there is, in the most professional, polite, generous way, do everything you possibly can to finish out so that they don't have a bad taste in their mouth. They're now just unfortunately not able to take advantage or manipulate or try to do those things to you now. And just say, hey, I think this is going to be our last one. We're not going to be able to do business together. Thank you for the opportunity that we have done business together. But, I wish you the best in business, or to a certain degree that. So anyways, let me know down in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button, like button if you would like. Let me know what you think. And until next time, have a great day, guys. Stay safe, and God bless. See ya.